Hey, creative friends, Corinne Sutherland here from Creative Worship Stamps. And it has been a while since I've done a YouTube video, so I thought maybe I would share a quick little page that I did in this watercolor sketchbook, a little art journal spread. So I'm going to start out using some spray stain. This is Worn Lipstick with my single damask stencil. I love this stencil. Oh my goodness, it's gorgeous. Designed by my friend Jen Nilsson. You definitely need to check it out. I'm also coming in with some water just to spread that out a little bit, and then following up with some carved pumpkin spray stain. Now this is pretty wet, and I decide that I don't want to clean it off. I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to save that so that I can create another project with that later. And I did actually create an Easter card, sort of a non-traditional Easter card with that leftover ink on that stencil. You'll have to check that out on my Instagram. So I am coming in and just drying this page, obviously cleaning up my mess a little bit here, but it is quite wet. So I'm coming in with my heat tool to dry that page. And we're just going to speed up this process a little bit because this isn't very exciting. So I decide here that I want to, there's still a little bit of ink on there. So I thought I would grab another sheet of cardstock and just sort of pick up whatever was left over, because I'm all about using the excess of any of my inks. I love to do that. I love to create different backgrounds, and just so I always have cardstock ready, just sort of handy so that I can use it to pick up any inks that I have left over. I did spritz it with a little bit of water to get it to run a little bit more, just to see what happened there. So obviously drying that and cleaning up my mess again here. The thing about using watercolor paper is that it doesn't absorb your ink as quickly, so it does take a little bit longer to dry. So now I'm going to take my Wonderful Words of Life stamp set, and I'm going to add some texture to my page. And I don't even bother putting this on a block. I just pick it up with my hand. I don't even peel it off the acetate. Just pick it up with my hand and put it in a little bit of ink and just kind of push it around in different places, since I don't want the whole image. I just want part of it. So now I want to add a little bit of shimmer to this. So I'm going to grab some gold shimmer spray. I'm shaking that up a little bit to get the mica that settles at the bottom of the bottle to mix in with the liquid. And then I just use the nozzle, just pull that whole thing out and just basically do some splatters onto my page. Now it is kind of hard for you guys to see this. I wish that it filmed a little bit better, but hopefully once it's dry and when I do a little bit of close-up shots, you'll be able to see a little bit better that it is there. So it looks really cool in person, I promise. So now I want to add some more texture to the background. So I'm grabbing the Vintage Snippets stamp set. This is one of my favorites lately. I have been using it on almost everything I create. It just has so many fun elements in it. And I decided I wanted to use a little bit of that Worn Lipstick color again, since there's a lot of orange in this. So I'm using Worn Lipstick Distress Oxide ink to stamp a little bit of that ruler texture on my page. Now, after I stamped this, I realized it wasn't really showing up very dark, so that was kind of a bummer. I was hoping that it would be a little bit more obvious and would pull that pink into the project, but it didn't, so I end up having to kind of pivot a little bit, and I grabbed my Festive Berries ink because it's sort of along the same family. It's just a little bit darker than that Worn Lipstick. And I also grabbed another texture stamp, one of the numbers that are in the Vintage Snippets, and I definitely like how that turns out better than the Worn Lipstick. I feel like the darker sections of the spray kind of match better the Festive Berries. So this is all just kind of experimenting. You know, you don't really know, especially with sprays, how it's going to turn out as compared to an ink pad. And plus, I'm also using Distress Oxide as opposed to just straight up Distress. So I definitely like how that turned out with the Festive Berries added in there with the numbers. So now I'm grabbing one of my butterflies that I have die cut up there, and I decide I want to color it with the spray stains. So I'm just using another piece of paper to kind of protect and gather the excess ink. And you'll find I actually use this paper as well to create a card So I'm literally through this entire process, I am using the extra backgrounds that I make. So I just something that I like to do. I feel like it gives me extra things to create with without having to waste a lot of my products. So here I am again picking up the excess, and yes, I even create something out of that. So there will be multiple cards made from these extra backgrounds that I've created. So I did use the worn lipstick spray there in the center. It's kind of hard to see. I think that carved pumpkin spray is pretty powerful and it sort of takes over a little bit, but hopefully you can see that little bit of pink. So now I want to add some shimmer to my butterfly. So I'm taking that gold shimmer spray and I'm just spritzing that onto my butterfly. I put it back on that piece of paper again. And so now, of course, that's going to have some shimmer on it as well. I kind of oversprayed, so I'm just picking some of that extra spray, that extra shimmer, picking that up with the butterfly wings there. And because this is quite wet, I am going to have to dry it with my heat tool so that I can use it for my page. So now I decided I wanted to add a little bit of white highlights to the butterfly in some places. So I ended up grabbing my Jelly Roll pen and just doing some little white dots along the side of the wings. I feel like this helps bring in some contrast since the butterfly is almost looks like it's all one color, even though the center has that worn lipstick color. I think between the orange and the worn lipstick being so similar, I probably could have gone in and maybe added some of that festive berries as along the center of there, but it is what it is, no big deal. So now I'm going to take my black Zig Writer and I'm just adding a tiny little dot inside the white dots or the light white marks that I made. Just again to add some more contrast, give the butterfly a little bit more interest. And when I put it on my page, I still felt like I needed some more contrast in there. So then I ended up coloring the center of the butterfly as well as the antenna because I felt like that added a little bit more contrast and it worked a lot better on my page to make it pop off a little bit more. Then again, contrast, I decided, and I'm sorry this is off screen, to make some marks with my Zig Writer. You can see me doing it here, but you missed the top part there. Just doing little sort of like hash marks with the Zig Writer in a few different places once I know sort of the placement of the butterfly. This is just kind of how sometimes art journaling goes, or even creating, any kind of creating. You just sort of organically, okay, does this work? Does this work? I'm not sure. Okay, let me try this. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. So I'm laying it out, getting it all figured out, and then I can come in and put my glue on there and put it down permanently. So I'm using the art glitter glue with the metal tip because I love that I can do a very small area. It just gets into those little tiny areas when you want to put a little bit of glue down. And I did end up putting some glue on the antenna. I didn't want those to tear off of the page, so I thought I better glue those down as well. But of course the wings, I wanted those to be able to fold up, so I did not put any glue on those. And of course, in the last but not least, I need to decide what I want my sentiment to be. So I pull one of these awesome little strips from the, I believe it's called Small Talk sticker book from Tim Holtz. We do carry those on our website as well. They're just a lot of fun. I pulled this whole thing out and decided to trim it down. I wanted it to fit obviously on my little page, so I did trim them down into 3 little sections and then just placing that directly onto my page. And there we have it. That is basically it. I did add some glitter enamel dots off screen just to bring in some more of that pink. And I really do wish you could see that gold shimmer in person. It looks so much nicer than the video can capture. But I hope this was fun. I hope it inspired you to get creative yourself. And until next time, happy stamping!